Sorted. Right.
How you doing, mate? You alright, hi?
All good, mate. All good.
Class, mate. Class. Right, so, obviously, before your time at Rangers, which you played at, how many years did you play at Rangers for?
I think it was 8 years by the time I'd left. 8 years.
That's a long time, mate. It's not a decade.
Long time, yeah.
So, where did it start then? Where did it start all before Rangers?
Well, just as MD does, just playing football on the street with your pals. I think it was like a local postman or something. Came up to me and to my dad and says, "Oh, I run a wee boys club called Dalvate, just around the corner from where I lived at the time."
Mm-hmm.
And I went down there, and as you do, you pay a couple of pound a session, and that got me on a team, just playing football, which was brilliant.
From a postman?
From a postman, yeah.
That's not bad, mate, not bad. So, what age was that at then?
About 7 years old. I started playing football about 5 or 6, just kicking about with my pals, and then a couple of years later, about 7 years old, I started playing a wee team.
And then, how long was it? Was it that club you got picked up by Rangers for, or was it different?
No. After that, I went to a team called Renton Craig Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I got into Rangers actually was a boy in the team Renton. His dad had connections with someone in Rangers, and me and the boy went along to a kind of recreational Sunday class for boys that played football. You get a wee Rangers kit and that, and it's all very nice, but it's no professional youth. It's not pro youth stuff. It's just like whoever you wants to can come along. And after a few sessions there, a couple of weeks, the coaches noticed that I was a wee bit better than the kind of other boys that were there, and they asked if I wanted to come more sessions and
more
outside with the boys that had been kind of plucked from other better boys clubs. So obviously I was delighted with that, because football was all I wanted to do, and yeah, just from there I started training with Rangers, and I never looked back.
Of course, mate. As well as, because I remember when it was happening, you had a tough decision as well, because obviously you were wanted by both sides of Glasgow, were you not?
Yes, mate. Well, at 7 and 8 and 9, I think there's still a kind of phase where you can train with as many clubs in Scotland as you like. Monday you can be at St Mirren, Tuesday at Celtic, Wednesday at Rangers, just however your working week looks. And I was at Celtic a couple of days a week, Rangers a couple of days a week, and then you get to about 9 or 10, and then you need to commit with one team or the other. And it was all up in the air. I had no idea who to pick, because I'm not a Rangers fan or a Celtic fan. As you know, I'm not too bothered. But what decided it for me was when I was playing with Celtic, they wanted me as a defender, and I was playing with Rangers, they wanted me as an attacker, and I just love scoring goals.
Of course.
So it was a no-brainer by the end of it. I just wherever I was going to get in the positions to be able to score the goals, I decided to sign with Rangers. To
go there. I remember as well, like you were saying that was there no kind of a choice you had to make as well, because was it Celtic gave you a training kit and you loved the look of the training kit?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. You liked the training?
I loved it. It was beautiful.
You kept it as well, didn't you? You kept the kit.
Yeah, I do. I think I still have a couple of things. Yeah, I will do.
That's superb, mate. So, good. So, what age when you kind of made the decision then?
There was a couple of year period where you can play with both, I think. And then about 9, I think it is, under 10s, you need to commit. So from then on, I was a Rangers man then.
Right. Was there who was the coach? Do you remember the coach at the time that did he have any kind of to do with it as well, the decision?
No, not really. I was quite quiet. I didn't have much of a kind of relationship with the coaches at that age. So nothing like that kind of swayed me. It was solely on the fact that I wanted to play in an attacking position, and Rangers were prepared to put me there. Yeah, that's good.
Was there anyone that you knew that was at Rangers? Was there anyone like kind of in your friend group that was in a similar position?
No one, mate. No one. No, absolutely no one. There was a couple of boys that played with the same boys club, that were kind of in a wee clique, but I came in very much on my own. Made friends obviously when I was there, but as far as signing with Rangers goes, I wasn't going with someone that was from my neck of the woods or with my team that I'd signed from.
Yeah. So what was it like then? First, obviously, when you started training, it was Murray Park, wasn't it?
Murray Park, yeah.
So what was that like?
It was good. Coaching was great. Facilities were great. The standard was obviously a lot higher than I was used to, but we're all still young boys. I mean, we're still just running about, kind of hectic at the time. But the first few years of signing with Rangers, it was good because you kind of get to hone your skill, and it's a lot more. This is how to play football rather than just running about with a ball bouncing about.
Nah, cutting about. Do you remember the time that for anyone who wouldn't know, me and my dad came up to watch yourself, and as well as Murray Park's kind of open as well, isn't it? Like you can kind of come in.
Yeah,
like,
you just come in.
We came in to watch yourself, and we'd seen your dad, and we walk over and we couldn't get parked. And do you remember my dad went round the first team player parking?
Aye, yeah.
Mate, parked his McGann between a Range and a Porsche. No one noticed. Nobody had a clue.
Yeah, slipped right in.
Oh, mate, ridiculous. So what was the kind of progression? What was your first kind of trip abroad as well? Because I remember you were away a few times, young.
Yeah. My first trip was we went to Portugal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of the first ones. That was brilliant. That's still some of my fondest memories of that tournament. We played some massive clubs. There was Ajax there, Real Madrid, Seville. They were brilliant. Sporting Lisbon. Yeah, I mean, it was different class being there. Brilliant.
You beat Madrid as well, didn't you? Did you not score a couple?
Beat them. Aye, I scored 2. Beat Real Madrid 4-0, I think it was, quite convincingly. And then we got through into the semi-finals and humbled off Seville. They were, they were different class.
Aye. What was the kind of difference then that you noticed between Scottish youth football and Spanish then? Was there a kind of cutting edge thing?
They had a real kind of savvy. They kind of knew what they were doing more than us. We were all good players, some big names in the team now, but they had a wee bit more up there. I mean, winning fouls and stuff at a young age, it was unheard of. We set pieces and stuff that they'd practiced, which was frightening to watch. They beat us 3-0 and it was 20-minute game, 40-minute game or whatever it was back then. But yeah, there was some brilliant players in that team. So
when you went abroad, obviously, because you went a few times, but did you share a room with anyone like specifically?
Well, every kind of year it changed. That tournament I can't remember who I shared with. Some mental boys in the hotel rooms. Aye. Like, few boys come out their shell. When you go away, some quiet boys, they end up doing the weirdest shit. Just when you go away, give us one. Don't land a minute. I don't want to put anybody under the bus, but aye, some good times, mate. Some good times. Good times.
As well, you obviously yourself, you played with, young Billy.
Billy Gilmour, aye. And Billy Gilmour, yeah.
Played with him for years.
Years, same team. Same team week in, week out for the 8 years, just until he signed with Chelsea. Aye, what a player.
Do you still speak to him? Do you still contact him?
Not every day, but every few months we'll kind of message one another or say well done. Something happens, and still got him on all my social medias and stuff. Yeah, so still stay in contact.
So see, when you kind of moved to, I don't know what age mate it would have been, but you were training kind of more around the first team. Was there any players that at the time from the first team that was kind of always was there someone who kind of sat with the youth teams or helped specifically? Was there anyone?
Kenny Miller was good for it at the time. He'd come in the changing room and sometimes speak. He was quite fond of Billy. Obviously, he got to train with the first team from 15, 16. So he was down with us sometimes, and he'd come into the changing room and tell us how to act and how to conduct yourself as a Rangers player. Obviously, Rangers are a very proud club, and all the first team are quite. They know their kind of morals and stuff. So they wanted to drill it into us from a young age, which you could tell, which was good.
Side deal. Then would you do that regularly, then, or was it just a kind of match thing?
Not regularly, but he was good for it. Better than some. Yeah, he was good for it, Kenny Miller.
So with your time with Rangers of your 8 years, was there ever an injury then that sidelined you that maybe kind of exploded?
Yes. Obviously, you get a couple of niggles through the season, but I remember one. Sorry, something's got on my phone. I remember one. We come back to pre-season, and it was the year that we transitioned from 7-a-sides to 11-a-side. So previously, it was all small games and short running and stuff like that. Sorry.
No, you're all right.
So previously it was all small games and not a lot of long distance running.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, small games near the goal can get a lot of shots away. And then when we come back from pre-season, we transition into 11-a-side games. And so in the pre-season we'd done a lot of like longer sprints and longer runs, and I had not done enough over the summer. We come back and we're doing like box to box runs from edge of box to the other edge of the box, and my hip's just gone. My hip flexor just right off the bone, mate, gone. Just from sprinting 70 yards or whatever it was. I just never done it. I just naturally had never really done it enough to merit putting in all the effort at the time, and that sidelined me for a good few months. It's something that I still kind of feel. That was at 13 years old, maybe 12, 13 years old, and I still kind of have problems with my hip.
Still now, even?
Still now, yeah. Still now. So I wouldn't advise not doing enough over the summer.
Nah, bet.
Time going on.
How long did that kind of put you out for then, was it?
I'd say about 2 to 3 months. Obviously the season starts back in June, July kind of time for at the end of the summer for pre-season, and it was before Christmas I got back, but those few months was very difficult, watching all your teammates playing games and kicking on and scoring goals and training every night, and I'm looking out the window into the pitch. Just you'd love to be out there running about, and it's nobody's fault but your own when it's a muscle injury. I think you can avoid that. So. It's
hard, isn't it, when you just your body can't do something. I totally make that.
Disappointing.
So was there someone you kind of personally looked up? Like, so if you were playing when you're 8 years at Rangers, was there someone at the first team you looked and thought, I would like to kind of resemble him? Maybe was there someone that you picked out from that team that you thought you could maybe aim towards?
Well, as a striker, I was a striker at Rangers. As a striker, I just looked at all the goal scoring forwards. So Chris Boyd, for example, just people that knew where the goal was. I always idolised people like that. I wasn't a Rangers fan, as I said, but when you get to go to the games or you watch the games on the telly, goals is what makes me want to play football.
Yeah.
So watching players like that finish like he could was brilliant.
Superb. So obviously that you must have had a few ups and downs. What would you say your proudest moment in the 8 years at Rangers were?
Proudest moment. I had a lot of good times. Proudest moment. Scoring against Real Madrid it's not something that everyone can say they done. So I'd probably say that the trips away were brilliant. We won a tournament in Holland at under 15s. That was a good trip away as well. So there's been a good few. I enjoyed my time.
I was going to say, because obviously Madrid's youth team, there's probably a few boys that are still in that as well.
There will have been, mate. Yeah, I couldn't tell you any names, but I imagine so, yeah. They wouldn't all get drafted out. There'll have been a couple that are there or thereabouts now, 18, 19.
So from the highs to the lows then, mate, in that 8 years, what would you think maybe the kind of bottom bit was?
Well, what happens is when you're 16, you're just about to leave fourth year and you can get a full-time contract, a professional deal, so you start getting paid money and you kind of go big time for a bit. I didn't get that initial contract at Rangers, so most, like, say 60% of the boys got a deal. I was in the 40% that didn't, for one reason or another. They didn't think I'd done enough that year to merit getting paid next year and joining the boys and being full-time, which was obviously, that's soul destroying because you work hard and keep yourself right, and I scored the goals and I played well. But they just didn't think that I'd done enough that season to merit getting kept on in a full-time paid basis. So that's why I had to leave and go elsewhere.
So you're saying you left, so leaving, how was that leaving and finding a different kind of club, a different environment?
That was, I actually found that all right. I was scared to take the initial jump, as you would be. I'd been there 8 years, so I didn't really know much else. So initially I don't know, I'm scared in case I don't get anything better than what I had at Rangers. But I was glad I made the jump by getting my new deal at Hamlin.
I was going to say as well, because a lot of folk, like, kind of outside the kind of folk that maybe don't watch youth football or don't know a lot about it, the Rangers and Celtic aren't necessarily from every age group the best kind of youth teams. So there's a lot of good youth teams.
There is. so I signed with Hamilton in the under-17s league season, and in that year we won the league. So I'd left Rangers, we were probably favourites to win that, and went to Hamilton. We were outside chance, and we went unbeaten that season. Didn't lose a game, drew a couple, but what a team that was.
And how was that winning the league?
That was probably my highlight of the time that I was at Hamilton. I scored the winner at New Douglas Park against Celtic to give us the trophy. So that was brilliant. And then from that, the team that wins the under-17s league gets in the UEFA Youth League, the kind of children's Champions League, which was a good experience as well. So that was definitely a bonus being there.
So how was it as well? Like, obviously you're saying Rangers were favourite. How was it? Was it made even sweeter winning that league, knowing that you kind of came from the favourites?
Oh, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because when you get told you're not good enough, you just want to go and prove them wrong. And I was a big part of the team that went and won the trophy against them. So
definitely. You're saying, so obviously Hamilton, the UEFA Youth League, how was that? Because obviously that's a massive step in it, playing outside Scottish football. Yeah.
So that was actually a bittersweet for me, because we went over to play Basel. It was in our first two-legged tie. We played away in Switzerland and came back and played at New Douglas Park in Hamilton. And I didn't play when we went over there, which was it was gutting, because I'd done really well the couple of weeks before, or a couple of months before the trip away, and they didn't start me in the first game, and I spat the dummy. I was kicking water bottles, and I was distraught. There was tears in my eyes. My missus and my mum and dad had come over, and was hoping to see me play from the start, and start me. So that was gutting. That was absolutely gutting.
So was that like was your first obstacle at Hamilton? Would you say
I would say so. Yeah, the first few years went pretty smoothly, winning the league and playing most games, scoring goals, and that was great. And then qualifying for the position that we were in at the UEFA Youth League, and I didn't get in there. I had not been put in the park in the first game. I got brought on for 15 minutes or something like that. But it was very disappointing not to start that game.
And how did the following games go? Did you take that in your stride? Did you kind of?
No. Well, I kind of fell out with the coaches, and from that, they kind of punished me, and didn't play me in the upcoming games, which was hard to take again.
Even more gutting. Who was the first team gaffer at Hamilton at the time?
It was Martin Cannon. Was the first team manager. But our coach, he was all right. I wasn't too close to the first team when he was. I wasn't close at all to the first team when he was the manager. Mm-hmm. I still played under 17s and reserves games. I didn't train with the first team or anything, so it was only really when Brian Rice came in that, and I got a year older, that things like that started to come into it.
Right. And how was Brian Rice? Chipper.
He was all right. I feel as though I deserved a lot more chances with the first team than I got at Hamilton. But he gave me what I came on against Albion Rovers in a pre-season friendly at the beginning of 2 seasons ago, and I scored. I came on for 15-20 minutes and I scored with my first touch. Mm-hmm. And that was brilliant. I was like, oh, hopefully he'll use me this season, or I'll be able to kind of get in some squads, or I'll be there or thereabouts. And then most of the boys my age get told that we needed to go on loan because they wouldn't be involved with the first team as much. And I felt as though I could have maybe deserved a chance after scoring in the first game that I played.
How was he like as a guy? Like, did you have many kind of conversations with him?
Yeah, well, he kind of dealt with my loan, so I spoke to him quite often in and out his office and off the phone with him, trying to sort that out. As a guy, we didn't have a clash, but I certainly wasn't his favourite player or guy, but civil enough. I wouldn't say he's got anything bad to say about me or me about him really, but we weren't best friends.
No.
Was
that's good. That's good. He was checking up on you, but you're saying that you were always on the phone and off the phone, kind of in his office.
Yeah. He was there to speak to. His door was open. To be fair, like you could go in and have a conversation with him about he had a problem or something, I wouldn't be overly nervous going in Champion's door and, oh, you get a minute, have a wee chat and speak about whatever's happened at the weekend or why am I not playing, this kind of thing. He was all right in that sense. So I'll give that to him.
Should he stick to driving buses then?
I think so, yeah.
So when you went to Hamilton, obviously you scored in your competitive debut, did you not?
I did, well, it was a friendly that against Albion Rovers, a friendly. So that was brilliant. Yeah, I mean that's what I just spoke about there. I was hoping to kind of kick on from that and be involved with the first team that season, but it wasn't to be. And the kind of week or so after that, Brian Rice comes into the reserves changing room and tells basically every boy in the room that would need to go on loan. It's the best thing for us rather than sitting about not really doing much for the year, which in the end ended up a bonus for me because I went out on loan to Annan.
So they are. So Annan. So how did Annan come about? Obviously the loan, but how did that? What appealed to you about Annan then?
Well, we get told that we were to find loan teams to go out to, or the club would help us, and we played as Hamilton. We went down to Annan and played a friendly there in the season, and Annan beat us 6-1.
Oh wow! Right.
Absolutely battered us 6-1. Excuse me, but I played really well. I played well, and after the game, the Annan manager and Brian Rice pulled me aside and says, "Listen, you're meant to be going on loan to probably a lesser team. Would you like to come down here for 6-month loan and see how you get on?" And I didn't even know where we were. So I mean, I just went down. Who's this? But the next few days we sorted out phone calls and whatnot. Spoke to the manager and the way he spoke was really positive. So I wanted to sign there on loan.
Yeah. Who was the manager?
It's Peter Murphy. He's still the manager there. I enjoyed playing under him. Good manager.
Aye, good guy.
Good guy. Aye, I liked him.
So would you clash your time with Annan then as a kind of not necessarily a success, but you enjoyed it? You felt you done well?
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. So I would my week would look like I would train Monday to Friday with Hamilton still, but after training on a Tuesday and Thursday, I would drive down to Annan, and I loved playing there. It gave me a real taste of men's football and playing for bonuses and playing for money and points and a real league and stuff. So that was brilliant. I loved it.
So you still trained with Hamilton then? Is that how it worked? If you were on loan?
Because Annan are part-time, I still had to train with Hamilton a normal full-time basis. And then after training, I would go down with a couple of the boys down to Annan and train there afterwards, yeah.
And would you enjoy the kind of Annan training as opposed more to the Hamilton?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed the Annan training better because the manager only gets a couple of sessions a week with the Annan boys before preparing for the Saturday game, and you could kind of see the intensity difference from a group of boys that all feel we're hard done to, not getting first team minutes and this isn't happening and this isn't happening for me. Whereas at Annan, everything was kind of all guns blazing, ready for the weekend. So I enjoyed that training much better.
So you say it was a 6-month loan, was it? Was that when your time kind of came to a close?
Initially it was 6 months to Christmas to see how I got on, if I could get in the team and kind of take a claim. But I done well, so I extended that from Christmas to the end of the season, and that just ran out when lockdown finished, basically.
Okay. So how was it you left, Annan? How did that? And obviously you were still with Hamilton. So what kind of happened then?
Well, the loan just finished there. Obviously, I was my mother club, they call it, my parent club, everyone call it, was Hamilton. So they owned me as a player, like under contract at Hamilton. And then in lockdown, they says that I wasn't getting a deal to move into the first team changing room at Hamilton. Brian Rice phoned me, and that was what it was. I couldn't really complain. I felt as though I deserved to maybe get a deal, or because I had a really positive season at Annan on loan, and I trained well with Hamilton first team whenever I got the shot up there, which was disappointing not to get a deal, but that is what it is. I understand it's different with coronavirus and stuff like that.
Aye, definitely. Was there any players at Aaron you especially got on with then? Was anyone who helped you settle in?
Yeah, well, there was a couple of boys that I went down there from Glasgow that I went down in the car with, and I'm still good pals with now. Yeah, the Glasgow boys are all great. I like them. I liked all the boys in the team, but especially the Glasgow boys because I spent a lot of time with them.
Grand. So then you're saying obviously your deal ran out. You obviously worked hard. I think it was well documented. You got your head down and kind of done a lot of training on yourself, and then obviously you got yourself to the Queen of the South. How did that come about?
Aye, through lockdown, especially as a free agent, I was out of contract. You don't know when the next paycheck's coming. You don't know when the next club's going to phone. You don't know what level or what category you're going to fall into. So it was quite mentally tough for the duration of lockdown. But all you can do is do what's in front of you. You can do the running, the fitness work, the strength work. And when the kind of restrictions lessened, I was able to go to my personal trainer, Ultimate Soccer. I'll name drop them. They're great with me. The sessions they put on are brilliant. And they just ready you mentally as well. They speak well and they help out where they can. So I owe them a lot. They're great.
Because there's a few players that also done the kind of individual training, isn't there? Like there was the Harry Cochrane done it as well.
Great few players, yeah. Mark Leonard down at Brighton, Harry Cochrane, Greg Dockett that was at Rangers. He's done it a few times, and some big names go to it. It's great.
Aye. So Queen of the South, then how is it that kind of came onto the table?
Well, it was a trial basis. I went down there. At first, I went down there for a trial. It was meant to be a week, turned into 2 weeks, turned into 3 weeks. I was enjoying it. I was scoring goals. I was playing well. The gaffer says that he liked me. It was just a case of speaking to the board and stuff, so that kind of dragged on. But once he told me that the pen was ready to sign the paper, I was over the moon, because obviously you look back at all the months that have just been through lockdown. I hadn't a clue where I was going to be playing. There was junior teams phoning me. There was even lower than that phoning me. There was in between phoning me, and I hadn't a clue where I was going to be playing my football. So I was delighted when I got the opportunity to play in the Championship.
And was the manager kind of key part in that? Was he always good with you? Kind of.
He was great, yeah. Down there, spoke to him often. He kept me and another boy in the loop. A boy, Kieran McKechnie, that was at Rangers with me. He's down at Queen of the South as well. They kept us in a loop. They were honest, which I appreciated. They told us the situation with the board and whatnot. So I appreciate how they were with me when I was on trial, and I'm delighted that they gave me a deal.
And ever since, mate, you've been phenomenal. You're always in the headlines at Queen of the South, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done all right so far. I've played a few games. Scored a couple of goals. It's good to be playing football at a decent level. Really decent level for my age. So I'm definitely happy there. Comfortable.
Aye, because they're a proper professional football team, can you say?
Yeah.
So you're saying you scored a few goals. Hampden, mate, that needs to be surely a highlight.
It is. It's a massive highlight. It is. Something that I've always so I've been on my bucket list to score at the National Stadium. Good goal too, top corner, so I won't complain.
It's a good thing. Bittersweet, but no fans.
No fans. That's terrible. It's terrible. Obviously, being a youth, most of my days I've not played in front of massive crowds. But signing with a Championship club like Queen of the South, I was relishing the opportunity to play in front of the thousands of fans that teams get. But with this, it is a bit bittersweet, as you say.
Yeah, it was good. It was good top of that goal, mate. It was some finish.
So then, see it. It's good.
It was brilliant. As well. So you've not played in front of any of the Queen of South fans?
No.
As of yet?
No. Not as of yet. No, not yet.
You nervous to play in front of them? See if they like you or not?
Aye, a wee bit. We'll see if they take a liking to me, but I'm sure because when they see what I can do, they'll take a warming to me. Aye.
Of course, mate. So would you say over that summer there is maybe individually the kind of biggest change you've made in a footballer? Because you can see, like, even kind of talking to you, you've kind of matured a lot, even like in football.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. The few months that's just happened back there, it was so tough. You just needed to stay so on the ball, so mentally positive. Not just doing the running and stuff. It was the mental state that you had to have. you need to be mature to be able to handle that and come out the other end of it with something positive. And I've managed to do that, so it's been great.
Sorry?
Definitely a big change in my maturity.
Of course. What are the boys like at Queen of South then? What do you think perhaps is the biggest difference from a youth environment to a first team environment?
Biggest change, the know-how, really, the kind of winning mentality. As Queen of the South, they've not won many games in recent months. We have now just started to win a good few games, but the kind of it's a maturity and the way that people conduct themselves on the ball and stuff. It's not rash. They know there's a reason behind what they're doing, and it's great to watch players like Stephen Dobie. The levels that he's played at, being able to watch what he can do in training and in games is brilliant to be able to learn off a player like that.
And how's he been with you? How are the boys and the first team players been with you at Queen of South?
Yeah, great. The boys are great. Dobes as well, especially he as a kind of attacking player, he's someone that I definitely look up to in the squad. He comes up and he tells you, oh, when you've done that, maybe do this, or gives you wee pointers and stuff, so it helps you out and you're able to take it on to the next match or next training session, and he's a good help.
Would you say that helps you then when a kind of player's able to, you have that relationship with a player where you can pull each other and maybe say you should have done this?
Absolutely. I think it's necessary. If you all stand about not speaking, then no one knows what they're really thinking. And if it's just a wee tap on the shoulder, a wee helping hand, then it's always a positive to help somebody out.
Dumfries then, how is it you getting yourself down to Dumfries? Is that on missions?
Well, we train in Hamilton actually, at the Hamilton Palace. So that's a massive bonus, not having to go down to Dumfries all the time. At the beginning, when I was on trial, it was down in Dumfries every day, which was taking its toll. But now we're up at the Hamilton Palace and get the David Lloyd next door. We use that gym, so it's a good setup. So
was there any initiations you had to do when you signed in?
I've not yet, no. I've not. I don't mind doing it as well. I'm a right singer.
You picked a few songs?
I've been playing it over in my head. I don't know what I'll sing, but I'm sure I'll put on a show.
Who you thinking? Who's the favourite song? Surely you got one in mind.
I was going to do a wee bit of Catfish. Catfish. Ballman. Aye.
That'd be good.
Aye. Be all right, mate. Aye.
How is it training that's kind of working? Obviously, like team meetings, do they happen? Is it able to do that with all that's going on now?
Well, it's difficult to train and off the pitch training, like the sports science and the video analysis and stuff like that. That's taking a wee bit of a back seat. You can tell. You need to be social distance in the changing rooms, and half the team are in one changing room, half the team are in the other. So the gaffer's going in between each dressing room to say the same team talk. It's all a wee bit. Sorry.
All right. That has been absolutely brilliant, mate.
Brilliant, mate. I've enjoyed it.
I love the insight. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you, mate. I've enjoyed it a lot. Thank you.
No, not at all.